We are live from the Results Operations Center here, the National Rock at Gallagher Estate in Midrand. You can hear the bell still going off. It means that the votes are still being tallied, but we are edging closer. We're almost at that 100% completion rate. And at this time, because of the data available, we obviously have plenty of information to unpack and analyze some of the trends and figures. So thank you very much for tuning in. You are watching SABC, available on all your TV, radio, social media, and various apps. Of course, you can also stream us online. I'm Liesl Wilson. I'm not alone. The selection, as you know, has been publicized as a watershed moment right from the beginning, and it's not disappointed. Lots of surprises are unfolding, and we are getting a sense that there are going to be more surprises in store for South Africans as the clock ticks on. And so we are going to continue with our analysis. Political analyst Professor Sethulego Matebesi from the Free State University, as well as Dr. Fikile Vilakazi from the University of the Western Cape, join me here at the big desk, and we're going to be unpacking some of the insights that they have and really what this means for South Africa at large going forward. Welcome back to the both of you, and thank you for joining us again. Continuing the conversation, we were speaking about the disputes earlier on, the Section 55 objections raised, and on the back of that, I mean, people also want to try and understand the processes that are set to unfold from here on too. We know that Parliament must convene within 14 days of the final results being declared.
Right.
As it stands, it looks like we're going to hear that from Sunday, so 14 days then from here on too, followed by the nation having to elect its first president. In the past, the ANC had the majority, so it was rather obvious as to who was going to take that, but the dynamics are different this time round. Prof. Sethulego, let me start with you. Talk to us about what you're witnessing on that front, and then I'm going to have Dr. Vilakazi join in after that.
Yeah, good morning once again to the viewers. I strongly believe that is going to be a huge pressure, not only on the African National Congress, but also on the opposition parties. Because now it's almost like it's bargaining at another level. But I strongly believe that the outcome of these elections is a precursor to our local government elections. So political parties had to be very cautious how they handle this matter. And I've also heard an insight this morning from Dr. Vilakazi earlier, stating that we need a broader dialogue. And I think behind that, for me, what is going to emerge, it will be a case where the African National Congress may reach out even to partners of the Democratic Alliance. And what will that tell about the so-called pact that was before that? And that's why some of us already predicted that some of the agreements, pre-election agreements, will just fly out of the window. Because in South Africa, when you put something on the table, people tend to look at their own narrow interest instead of the interest of the citizens. So I think those kind of factors will perhaps play a huge role in determining the kind of negotiations that will take place behind the scenes.
Because also there's the independent candidates that we're looking at, and within the National Assembly, I mean, the power dynamics that are also unfolding. So Dr. Vilakazi, I mean, how would you weigh in on that, and really what's at stake this time round?
It's a very intense negotiation, I think, that we are heading towards. I just want to actually premise my input on that one with the words of Lebo Mashile. When she does my child is wrapped up in a ribbon of rhythms, one of her poetry, she actually says, one of the sentences there, some demons walk with us to free us. And I'm referring here to the Doomsday Coalition, that it may be seen as a demon of South Africa because of the differences that have been lying between that coalition. But it could be that these demons are now walking with us to free us, and I think we need to face our demons.
Yes.
We need to face our demons as South Africa, and it's inevitable, Prof. It means then we're going to a national dialogue. But also to come to your question around the equation of what is possible around the nitty-gritties of what this means at a practical level. We need to put National Assembly within 14 days.
Yes. We
need a president. It means it is on the basis of this coalition that the president will come, the deputy president, the key portfolios in Parliament. In this scenario, you've got the ANC still holding on like 40-something%. right? And then you have the DA at national level following, and then followed by
MK.
by the MK. It means then we may need to revisit the principle of proportional representation. That could be one scenario that we could take. What it would then mean at a practical level, if you decide on the basis of proportional representation, is that the party that's got the highest numbers will take the highest positions, and you go down like that. So it may mean then that we go back to the presidency of the ANC, perhaps the DA becomes the deputy president, and then you find the MK and the EFF in the key ministries, you know, in that scenario. Lizel, key democracies in the world show us that that kind of thing works. You look at the situation in Denmark, look at coalition governments in Finland. The Finnish did this when they came from the Second World War. I mean, the Cold War, right? When the Soviets, because they were part of the Soviets, and they had to fight. I mean, they went through a military transition there, but they had to do something similar to that. And I can point to many others. Coming closer home to our friends in BRICS, the Indians have done it. You know, the Indian government has been in and out of coalitions. At a point when it was pivotal in India, they had to actually succumb to the balance of power. And in politics, you arrive at a place where you actually have to do checks and balances. And the checks and balances at this point are pointing us to a balance of power scenario. And that we may even have a speaker coming from a different political party altogether in parliament. And then it means that you have a president from the ANC. So in that way, it strengthens accountability.
100%.
And it strengthens holding each other accountable. But I want to point out something else that I think is at stake here. It is the voter. The voter has decided. So the compromises that are expected from political parties, I think are equally expected from us as the voter to say, when my political party says, let's take an EFF as a scenario, it's got 7 non-negotiable cardinal points, pillars, right? Nationalization of key sectors of the economy. And now they have to find themselves in a coalition with the DA, for instance, which is a far-right organization. Then they will be expected to go back to the voter and say, this is our situation. We want to make sure that we put the interest of South Africa first. We may have to compromise A, B, C, and D. Which of the 7 cardinal pillars do we need to take a compromise position on? And so on. So those are the I think the nitty-gritties of what I see.
And on the back of what Dr. Vilakazi echoed, Prof, the multi-party charter agreement, I got that right. We're always confusing the two terms there between the DA and you know, other like-minded parties forming the coalitions as well. Efficacy thereof. Also, just your concerns, given the current scenarios that are unfolding. We're obviously trying to make this people-centered, given the issues that we're grappling with, and how to take SA Inc. at large forward.
Yes, most importantly, I strongly believe that if you talk about a multi-party charter, South Africans have given political parties, you know, the right to govern according to how they want to do it for 3 decades now. And I strongly believe that it's about time that not a single party, because the problem is, and some of the issues that have been highlighted, if the ANC is going to initiate any of the kind of coalition agreements that it wants, or even the Democratic Alliance, the problem is that will once again be problematic, because we've seen so many of these negotiations taking place and later on just faltering around. We need independent people, capable, even if it's international people, who can lead us in finding a solution, because it's for me personally, I strongly believe that South African leaders has demonstrated that they are not capable of adhering to some of the agreements that they have made and the promises that they have made. And it's about 3 decades of democracy that South African citizens should take a center stage and become part of that particular dialogue.
I'm going to have to leave the conversation there. Time is just not on our side. But obviously the conversations continue, because we conclude one thing at this point as we await the final results. There are still more questions and answers. You can see the results center filling up nicely.
And the picture may change.
The picture's might be changing. We're still looking at what those possibilities and probabilities are going to entail. But here at the big desk at the Results Operations Center in Midrand, University of the Free States, Professor Sethulego Matebesi as was Dr. Fikile Vilakazi from the University of the Western Cape, joining us, unpacking some of the insights on the unfolding political events right here in South Africa. We're going to leave it there for now. From myself, Hazel Wilson, I'm going to be handing back over. It has been an absolute pleasure, but do stay tuned to the SABC. Of course, we continue to bring you rolling coverage as the day progresses. As it stands, 2nd of June is when we set to receive the final results. So do stay tuned for those rolling coverage and developments. From myself, Hazel Wilson, the rest of the team, until next time, take care. It is goodbye for now.